I was fortunate enough to receive a free early access copy of Into the Radius for Quest 2. Now this is a single player survival shooter with some horror undertones. The gameplay involves preparing yourself to venture out into the Pajorsk Radius Zone. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but this is a surreal and unforgiving place filled with secrets, loot, quests to complete, as well as these things called anomalies that hurt you. Now these anomalies range from static invisible fields to humanoid shadows that want nothing more than to rip your face off. It comes out September 7th on the Quest 2 for the price of $29.99 US. And whilst it's not the perfect game, I have personally really enjoyed what it has to offer. But this video is not meant to be my review or my first impressions. Instead, because Into the Radius involves quite a few gameplay mechanics and a bit of strategy too, it's more of a guide to help you learn some of the basics and give you a few tips that I wish I would have known when I first started. So if you've got the game or you're thinking of getting it, join me as we go through my beginner's guide to surviving the Radius Zone. So here we are. I'm going to show you a few essential things and tips that will help you survive in the Wasteland Beyond, or at least help you get started with the game. And my first tip actually would have to be do the tutorial. Don't skip it, even though it might be tempting to do that, because that will really help you out. Now inside here we can see this is our home base, and this is a really important part of the game because this is the place where you prepare your equipment. You make sure you get as ready as you can be, and that's going to really help you survive in the Wasteland Beyond. The first thing I'll show you is a real basic thing, this gadget here, which shows my health in red. When that gets to 0, I die, of course. And we have the stamina in blue. And when we run, the stamina gets depleted, and also hunger affects that too. So I'll show you a little bit later. You'll see a yellow bar appear when I get hungry, and that yellow bar, what it does is it prevents my stamina from replenishing as fast, and so if I'm well fed, then I can run for longer. So as you can see, we've got a bunch of stuff in here, and I'll give you the guided tour a bit later. But first, I want to show you this trailer. So this trailer contains, amongst other things, a shower that will help heal us. So my health is at 65%, but if I pay $50, I can restore 25%. Or $70 for 35% of my health. So you'll see my red bar will now increase, so now I've got full health there. So now we've had a shower, my health is back to full. I'm going to show you the shop. You've got a bunch of items along here, and my second tip is going to be to show you which items you might want to get first. Starting with torches. Now, light in this game is essential, so this torch is very important. So what you're going to want to do this torch is chuck it like this and get rid of it as soon as you can, because what you want really is this headlamp here. Now this headlamp goes on your head, so it doesn't use up a slot, and it means you don't have to carry it around everywhere you go. You just touch it on or off. I'm not at that security level yet though. You can see I'm at security level 1. As you do missions, you increase your security level. So the next best thing to that is this pocket lamp. So I press the plus sign here, click buy. It's only $50. It's not expensive at all. Pocket lamp goes in that slot here. So it does take up a slot, but still a lot better than carrying around a torch. So how you use this torch, you just switch it on using the trigger, pop it in your pocket, and now you can light the way. You don't have to hold on to anything. So having both hands free is so important in this game. It's useful for so many things, such as, for example, handling two-handed weapons and that kind of thing. The other thing you want to stock up on is food. Now, some food is better than others. Canned food is the gold standard. That's going to really satisfy your hunger better than anything else. I would say have at least one can of food in your backpack at all times. Now go to science equipment. By the way, you don't necessarily need to buy this stuff. You'll find some of it laying around, but you want to make sure you've got advanced probes. I'd say 2 bags of those, one on your wrist and one in your backpack, just in case you lose them, because that's going to be important. I'll show you what they do a bit later. You also want a detector as well. I've got one on my person here. That's going to help you detect artifacts, and a camera too. You actually need a camera for one of the missions, so handy just to get a camera. Make sure you have one in your backpack. And one thing I did forget to mention is making sure you have 2 of these health stims on you at all times. Health stim is that thing you're seeing there, and they of course restore your health and can be incredibly useful when you're in the field. Now in terms of weapons, there's an absolute ton of weapons you can choose from. A lot of them require different security levels, so you're not going to be able to buy all of the different weapons straight away. But one thing's for certain, the Marikov pistol is not a very good weapon. The damage is pretty atrocious, as well as the fire rate. So you're going to either want to do one of two things. Upgrade the weapon as soon as you can. Maybe wait till you're a security level 2 or 3 to get some of the better weapons. The PP91, for example, I like that weapon. It's quite a nice one. And if you don't buy a new weapon straight away, one thing we can do is upgrade our existing weapons. So we go back here. Upgrade. I'll grab my Makarov, chuck that in there like that. And we can upgrade a few different things here. So I'm going to increase the reliability. I'm also going to add a rail slot attachment too. Otherwise, my recommendation is probably just not to upgrade their Makarov. Don't waste your money. Try to buy a new weapon as soon as you can to try and replace a Makarov, because it really isn't a fantastic gun. So the other thing we have to be aware of are weapons and maintaining them. So if we look at the stats of this one, you can see it's actually pretty well maintained. We've only got a little bit of wear and tear. Now to repair that, I can chuck it in here like that. It tell me how much it costs, 13 bucks, and repair it like so. Or let's get my weapon back. I can repair it manually, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than doing it this way. So let me show you how to repair and maintain your weapons. So my next tip is make sure you repair your weapons, maintain them after every mission. Not just your weapons, but your armor, everything really. And I explain by showing you with this pistol here that's seen better days. So let's make sure it's loaded. And what we'll do is, that's not the button I wanted to press. Yeah, make sure the safety's off. And I'll show you. There we go, almost instantly jammed. We're going to have to pull it out. You lose a bullet, you have to pick that up and get to fire a few more shots. And actually did pretty well. Usually they jam more often than that. But that's why you want to repair your weapon, because you don't want it jamming during a firefight. That's one of the worst things that can happen. So we pop it in this vise here. We see it's in the yellow. Because it's in the yellow, we're going to need to use this toothbrush, this can of lubricant here, spray, brush. And you can see, as I spray and brush, the bar goes up and eventually goes into the blue. Now it's in the blue, we can use our other items here. This ramrod, this tissue paper, I press trigger, get the tissue up, and then we just, do that for as long as we need to until it comes out the blue there. Alright, so now you can see our pistol is good as new now we've repaired it. Do the same thing with armor, do the same thing with weapons every time before you go out, just to make sure you're never caught short with malfunctioning weapons because you haven't looked after them properly. And also remember to maintain your cartridges, because they also can deteriorate over time. So as you can see on your body, you got different pouches and spots where you can put different things. Now how you arrange your equipment can be the difference between life and death when you're in the wasteland. And so this is how I set out my layout. I have these things called probes. I put them on my wrist just here. I'll show you why and what these do a bit later if you're not sure. I also make sure I have a knife on my other wrist. That's so I can quickly access it if I come into close combat encounters, and also it helps me save a bit of ammo, which I'll show you again a bit later on, because I get to use this in places where I don't really need to use my pistol. Some other things I have are my magazines in my pocket here. Now I make sure all magazines in these pouches are fully loaded. So you can see this one isn't. And what we can do to solve that is just pop the bullets in one by one like that, or you can get the whole box of bullets and do it automatically like that. So I think that's now a fully loaded clip. Okay, so now all my clips are fully loaded. Also want to make sure my shotgun is fully loaded too. There we go, and make sure we've got some ammo inside that. So I can check my ammo count like this, or I can hold down this stats here, and you can see ammo 2 out of 2 buckshot. So it's telling me it's fully loaded. So that's my other tip here, is when it comes to weapons like this, you don't need to necessarily pull out the clip to see how many bullets you got left in there. You can just press down this and it will show you how much ammo is in the gun. Now the backpack hopefully shouldn't look like that. It's a bit messy at the moment, and this is what I do to optimize the space in my backpack. So things like this is something I'm going to sell a bit later on. I don't need that when I'm out in the wasteland. I'm going to need that when I need to sell it back here at home base. So that's not essential. and I put that right at the back of the backpack here. Things like this clip, for example, imagine this was fully loaded. Let's load it up right now. I put this right at the front of the backpack right here. So the reason I do things like that, and this grenade as well, put this right at the front, is because if you're in a gunfight and you're standing still, get your backpack out, you can grab your gun and leave it open here like that. If you run out of ammo, you've got all of this nice ammunition right at the front ready to use at a moment's notice. So that's the best way, in my opinion, is to organize your backpack. Stuff that is kind of non-essential at the back, and then stuff like ammo and things like that, more essential at the front, easy to access. So next up, we'll go to this terminal. This will show us what missions we have available, and I've got a bunch of missions here. What I like to do is I just like to click start on all of them. And what that will do is it will mean that sometimes we might be able to complete multiple missions at once. So here on the map, or I can put it out here, we'll be able to see, if we look at the global map, these red circles are all of the missions that the locations that we have to go, and they're pretty close together, so I might be able to get 2, 3, maybe all of them done in one fell swoop without doing one, coming back, doing another, that kind of thing. It just makes things go a lot quicker, in my opinion. If you forget what the missions are, you've got this missions tab along here too. That will help you out. Now, one thing before I head out as well is this timer here will show me the time I have left until the tide comes in. Now, what is the tide? Well, the tide is something that resets everything. It resets the anomalies, the location of the enemies. And if you're out there and you get caught in the tide, you to yourself, you'll be reset. Your location will be reset, and you'll be spawned randomly somewhere else. And that can be kind of dangerous. So I make sure I've got enough time to complete my missions before that tide comes in. As you can see, I've got over 2 days. So here we are out in the open. It does cycle between night and day. Obviously, it's a bit dark at the moment, which can be a good or bad thing. It might mean we have to use our torch a bit more than normal. Otherwise, it's a good thing in the sense that it could also help us remain undetected for longer, meaning that we have less confrontations, we save a bit of ammo, and potentially save a bit of health too. Now, I'm going to show you the stamina meter. If we run like this, we can see our stamina's going down. I'll keep it up till we get to the top of the hill there. Now, we see that yellow bar here. The yellow bar is our hunger meter. That's going to prevent our stamina from replenishing as fast. Now, in order to remove that hunger or reduce it, we're going to have to eat, of course. What we eat is going to depend on how much we reduce that bar. So, if I look inside my bag here, I've got some canned food. Canned food is really the best thing to eat when it comes to reducing your hunger. There's other foods like chocolate bars that also work, or drinks, but really it's canned food is where I'm having trouble opening. There we go. Canned food is where it's at. You grab your knife, take a piece out like that, and you just chow down. There we go. So now when I run, that yellow bar should be pretty much gone, or almost gone. There we are. No yellow. In order to complete our mission, which is somewhere along there, we're going to need to get through this field. This field is filled with anomalies, as you can see. If I touch them, they're going to hurt me. And this is why we have probes. So probes are going to be used often in this game. That's why I have them on my wrist for easy access. And what you do, just press the trigger, and you can launch them ahead like this. And if it touches an anomaly, it will show it. So it will essentially help me get through them without touching any anomalies, hopefully. So you can hear that ticking. That's the device going off on my chest here. Now it's showing a green light when I turn it this way, showing a blue light when I turn it this way. This means that somewhere in this direction there is an artifact. Now this can help us find artifacts. And artifacts are located usually when there's a bunch of anomalies, like we can see here, clustered together. So if we follow the green light, which is this direction, there should be an artifact around here, hopefully. Now I'll just flash the light, and that should reveal it if it's anywhere nearby. across here. So on this log. Here we go. I think I revealed it. It must be around the other side of the log here. And there we have our artifact. So artifacts, they have special properties. If we check out the description, starlight artifact that vibrates periodically, used to leave traces and be able to backtrack. And they're also worth quite a bit of money as well. So even if you don't use them, you can sell them for a nice bit of cash. So I'm going to stow this away in my backpack for now. Right, I'll show you a bit of combat. So before I do that, I'm just going to take a photo of this guy because that is part of our mission. Let's put this back where it belongs. I'm just going to drop this camera here, bring out my backpack so it's ready with the ammo there. And I'm going to take him out. Headshots are usually best. Now we have this orb here. Now rather than shooting that, which I used to do, I'm just going to use my knife, give it one of those. And there we go. So instead of wasting a bullet on that, I've used my knife and saved some precious ammo doing that. My backpack will come back naturally. I'm going to take up my camera again because I'll need that for my mission. One other thing I'll show you as well is you see these ammo shot slots here. You want to make sure they're always filled with a cartridge, so you're always ready to go. Now when you do get to the point when you've got an empty mag, like here, there's a few bullets in there, but let's pretend I've got no bullets left. I just dispose of it in that pouch there. So I keep it, but I make sure that it's not in any one of these pouches, because the last thing you want to do is pick up an empty mag from the pouch when you're in a situation that's a bit dicey and realise you've got no ammo. So next tip is keep your eyes out for clues like this. This is, for example, a stash that you can find in a certain location. It gives you a clue. It could be weapons, could be lots of different things. And later on I did manage to find the stash that was mentioned in the note. I got a sweet TT-33 pistol, which was a nice upgrade from my Makarov. So I think it's well worth investing your time in finding these little hidden stashes, as you can get some real nice stuff without having to spend a single penny. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found some useful starting tips in there for yourself. Do you have tips of your own? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what kind of things you're doing for Into the Radius that you feel really helps you to survive.